take the whole outcome.
Seek the source.
You are you, who are not the body and not the mind.
You are not the body and you are not the mind. Who are you? Questioner. We were talking the other day about the ways of the modern Western mind and the difficulty it finds in submitting to the moral and intellectual discipline of the Vedanta. One of the obstacles lies in the young Europeans' or Americans' preoccupation with the disastrous condition of the world and the urgent need of setting it right. They have no patience with people like you, who preach personal improvement as a precondition for the betterment of the world. They say it is neither possible nor necessary. Humanity is ready for a change of systems, social, economical, political, a world government, a world police, world planning, and the abolition of all physical and ideological barriers. And this is enough. No personal transformation is needed. No doubt, people shape society, but society shapes people too. In a humane society, people will be humane. Besides, science provides the answer to many questions which formerly were in the domain of religion. Maharaj. No doubt, striving for the improvement of the world is a most praiseworthy occupation. Done selflessly, it clarifies the mind and purifies the heart. But soon man will realize that he is pursuing a mirage. Local and temporary improvement is always possible, and was achieved again and again under the influence of a great king or teacher. But it would soon come to an end, leaving humanity in a new cycle of misery. It is in the nature of all manifestation that the good and the bad follow each other, and in equal measure. The true refuge is only in the unmanifested. Questioner. But are you not advising escape then? Maharaj. On the contrary, the only way to renewal lies through destruction. You must melt down the old jewelry into formless gold before...
You have
to help the world.
You have to bear. You have to. Oh, have to. Where?
Prepare.
But.
First, in order to help the world, first you must prepare yourself first.
You want healing. You want healing.
Oh, if you want to learn swimming, want to teach swimming?
You want to. Not to.
Or if you do not know swimming,
don't jump.
Then don't jump in the water.
You have
to save someone. Don't try to save someone by jumping in the water if you don't know swimming yourself.
But you have to be prepared.
First you have to prepare yourself. Then you can think about helping the world. Only the people who have gone beyond the world can change the world. It never happened otherwise. Those few whose impact was long-lasting were all knowers of reality. Reach their level, and then only talk of helping the world. Questioner, but it's not the rivers.
Everybody, very fighting, very every man.
Every president
I had
tried to help
all handy,
the whole country.
fighting my fighting.
What's been the result? We're still in difficulty. Nothing has helped. That's what you should have, an association to enlighten all the presidents and the kings.
Everyone more
If you want, if you do not
believe,
if you do not believe,
then that many men come on. Many pin harmony. Believe harmony.
yeah, the Philippine government, he said, if you don't believe what he's saying, just pay attention to the Philippine government. Questioner, but it's not the rivers and mountains that we want to help. We want to help the people. Maharaj, there's nothing wrong with the world. It's only the people who make it bad. Go and ask the people to behave. Questioner, but desire and fear are making them behave as they do. Maharaj, exactly. As long as human behavior is dominated by desire and fear, there is not much hope. And to know how to approach the people effectively, you must yourself be free of all desire and fear. Questioner, certain basic desires and fears are inevitable, such as are connected with food, sex, and death. Maharaj, these are needs, and as needs, they are easy to meet. Questioner, are you saying that even death is a need? Maharaj, well, having lived a long and fruitful life, you feel the need to die. Only when wrongly applied.
Why not? That is need of. That is need of this.
Death is
And of this. This.
it's the end of the dress.
And this. And.
Change of dress. You just change the banana peel.
God, for my one too old.
When you're too old,
Mine old dead. Old
and your
dead.
death,
Dead.
when your dress becomes too old, you want to change it. You throw it away.
Why, man? Far better than body car. Far better.
Far better than
Body car.
a plastic.
Body car.
Than a plastic.
Car.
Oh, he says, it's better to die than to live with a plastic heart. He doesn't like plastic hearts at all.
Other car. Other car.
And to live with others' heart, that's even worse. So the questioner said, even death is a need? Maharaj, having lived a long and fruitful life, you feel the need to die. Only when wrongly applied are fear and desire destructive. By all means, desire what is right and fear the wrong. But when people desire what is wrong and fear what is right, then they create chaos and despair. Questioner, so what is right and what is wrong? Maharaj, relatively speaking, what causes suffering is wrong. What alleviates it is right. But absolutely, what brings you back to reality is right, and what dims reality is wrong. Questioner, when we talk of helping humanity, we mean a struggle against disorder and suffering, Maharaj, you merely talk of helping. Have you ever really helped? Have you ever really helped a single human being? Have you ever put one soul beyond the need of any further help?
No, many want to be helped.
Nobody wants to be helped.
Even your son, the others.
Even your son and daughter don't want your help.
But they want money.
They want money, but they don't want that. They don't want that kind of help. Can you give a man character based on full realization of his duties and opportunities at least, if not on the insight into his true being? When you do not know what is good for yourself, how can you know what is good for others? Questioner. The adequate supply of means of livelihood is good for all. You may be God himself, but you still need a well-fed body to talk to us. Maharaj. No, it's you that need my body to talk to you. I am not my body, and nor do I need my body. I am the witness only. I have no shape of my own. You're so accustomed to think of yourselves as bodies having consciousness that you just cannot imagine consciousness as having bodies. Once you realize that bodily existence is but a state of mind, a movement in consciousness, that the ocean of consciousness is infinite and eternal, and that when in touch with consciousness, you are the witness only. Once you realize all of that, then you'll be able to withdraw beyond consciousness altogether. Questioner. We are told that there are many levels of existence. Do you exist and function on all the levels? While you are here on earth, are you also in heaven, Svarga? Maharaj, I am nowhere to be found. I'm not a thing to be given a place among other things. All things are in me, but I am not among things. You're telling me about the superstructure, while I am concerned with the foundations. The superstructures rise and fall, but the foundations last. I'm not interested in the transient, while you are talking about nothing else but the transient. Questioner. Well, forgive me for this strange question, but if somebody with a razor-sharp sword would suddenly sever your head, what difference would it make to you? Maharaj. None whatsoever. The body would just lose its head. And certain lines of communication would be cut. That's all. Look, two people talk to each other on the telephone, and then the wire is cut. Nothing happens to the people, only they have to look for some other means of communication. The Bhagavad Gita says, the sword does not cut it. And it is literally so. It is in the nature of consciousness to survive its vehicle.
You cannot die.
You cannot die.
But the body has to die.
But the body has to die. It is like fire. It burns up the fuel, but fire does not burn itself. Just like a fire can outlast a mountain of fuel, so does consciousness survive innumerable bodies. Question. But still the fuel affects.
You cannot maintain your body more than 100 years.
You cannot maintain the body more than
After
100 years.
you bring again the body.
So after 100 years, you take another body.
I buy you brand new.
Where can you go?
Whole morning body, whole house.
The whole universe is your house, so after dying, after the death of the body, where can you go? So the questioner says, the fuel affects the flame, Maharaj, only as long as it lasts. Change the nature of the fuel, and the color and appearance of the flame will change. Now we are talking to each other, and for this, presence is needed. Unless we are present, we cannot talk. But presence by itself is not enough. There must also be the desire to talk. Above all, we want to remain conscious. We shall bear every suffering and humiliation, but we shall rather remain conscious. Unless we revolt against this craving for experience, unless we revolt against it and let go of the manifested altogether, there can be no relief for us. We shall remain trapped. Questioner: you say you are the silent witness, and also that you are beyond consciousness. Is there no contradiction in this? If you are beyond consciousness, what are you witnessing? What are you witnessing to? Maharaj: I am conscious and unconscious. I am both conscious and unconscious, neither conscious nor unconscious. To all this, I am a witness. But really speaking, there is no witness, because there is nothing, no thing to be a witness to. I am perfectly empty of all mental formations. I am void of mind, and yet I am fully awake. And this I try to express by saying that I am beyond the mind. Questioner: how can I reach you then? How can I? Maharaj: be aware of being conscious and seek the source of consciousness. That is all. Very little can be conveyed in words. It is the doing as I tell you that will bring light, not my telling you. It is the doing. The means do not count much. It is the desire. It is the urge, the earnestness that count.
Heart good, heart good, heart.
Short story.
Hey,
Short article.
apart, fool, one fool, one fool.
And the fool, you want the fool? Article about the fool? Okay, find it.
King and have two.
The fool and the king, right? Oh, he says this story is related to Easter.
Okay.
Easter story. It's called The Fool and the King, and it was written by Shri Brahmananda in Ananda Ashram, December 2nd, 1985. It's easy to know about others. It's easy to know about the past, present, and future, to know the whole story of the universe, if you are educated in science and religious prophecies, so forth and so on. But it's very difficult to know the real form of God. That is to say, God in the form of I am. There is an age-old conflict between white colors, physical, mental, and spiritual white, or the so-called all-knowers, and non-white colors.
I'm still dead. I'm still dead.
Up to date. There is an age-old conflict between white colors, such as the physical, mental, and spiritual white, or the so-called all-knowers, and the non-white colors, for example, the non-educated and ignorant. As I already have said, you can know anything about others and about the universe, but you cannot know yourself by mere mind, even though you may be a great thinker and have great intelligence. And this I would like to explain to you by narrating a story. Once upon a time, there was a highly educated king who had been gifted with a knowledge of science, psychology, philosophy, various comparative religions, and prophetic vision. He had reached up to the climax of his intellect, where he realized deeply and was convinced that all people were fools and idiots. Emerson has written, "Everybody is God playing the fool." But the king, on the contrary, understood in his mind that everybody is a fool playing God. He really believed, was convinced that all the people on this earth were fools, although they didn't admit it, naturally. In fact, on the contrary, the fools were pretending that they are very, very wise. And not only this, some of them had already declared themselves as incarnations of the absolute God. So the king thought about this, and then he decided to deliver the following announcement on the television and the radio, and even put an advertisement in the newspaper. And he said, "He or she who admits himself or herself to be a first-class fool, I will see to it that he will receive $10,000 per month, a Rolls-Royce car insured with a chauffeur, and a stick or a shaft full of various jewels will also be given to him. His work will be to search for as many more fools and idiots as he can find." Well, for many years, no one had the courage, or wanted to, admit himself to be the first-class fool or idiot. But finally, one day, a fool appeared in the court of the king. And the king asked, "And who are you?" I am a first-class fool," said the fool. And the king asked, "And what proof do you have that you are a first-class fool?" And the fool replied, "Well, I have a high school education, university education. I have a BA, MA, PhD, and Doctorate of Literature in foolery." Well, the king wasn't sure, so he demanded a practical example from the fool of these skills that he had learned from all these degrees in foolery. in foolery. So the fool said, "Oh, I can do that easily. You see, whenever I climb up a tree, in order to come down from the tree, what I do is cut the branch upon which I am sitting. That enables me to come down instantly, and in that way I avoid extra work." Well, the king heard this, and it seemed that he was perfectly satisfied with this example of extraordinary work of this fool. So he appointed this man to search out and find another fool, whose salary was to be $14,000 a month, including an insured Rolls Royce with a chauffeur, and a stick would be given to him full of diamonds. And when another fool was found, he was commanded to give this stick to him and to inform the king of his discovery. Well, the fool was very happy with this work given to him, and he returned to his own home, where he began to meditate, as was his custom. A very long time passed, and the fool continued to look for another fool, but he couldn't find one. And by this time, after so many years had passed, the king was on his deathbed. But even on his deathbed, he was feeling anxiety about what that fool was doing. So he summoned the fool, and he asked him to come to him. Knowing that the king was on his deathbed, the fool decided to organize a press conference, complete with TV and radio programs, so that the king could make his announcements and statements in front of all this TV and radio. When the fool approached the king with his whole staff of newsmen, he made salutations and asked him, "How do you do, my lord?" And the king from his deathbed replied, "I'm signing off. I'm going for good." And the fool asked, "And may I ask, where are you going?" And the king replied, "I don't know. I'm just going." And the fool asked, "May I ask another question, Lord? How many people are going with you? Are you going with your wife and children? Are you taking your bodyguard, your army?" The king looked at him with a strange expression, and he said, "No, nobody can go with me." "Another question," the fool said. "When are you returning?" The king replied, "That's ridiculous. No one can return from death." The fool went on, "What are you taking with you for your needs and to serve your greed?" "I cannot take anything with me from this sense-perceived universe." The fool at this moment turned to the newspaper men, the TV and radio men, and told them be sure to write the exact replies of this king. The fool said, "My lord, in all due respect, if I am going somewhere, first I decide where I am going, and then I decide when I am returning. Then I think how many women and men should go with me, and how much money I'm taking along to serve my needs, how much staff. I don't go anywhere without knowing the purpose of my journey, and I always reserve a hotel room or a motel room exactly where I am going, and I do this in advance." "I'm sorry, my lord, you don't seem to know anything about your journey. You have appointed me to go in search of another fool. Well, I'm very happy to tell you that I have found another fool. It's you. So therefore, I surrender this stick full of precious jewels and diamonds to you. For never, in my whole search, have I found such a great fool as you." Well, as a result of this dialogue, the king came out of his sickness. He became healthy and happy because he had found his guru, his real guru, in the form of that fool. Now the moral implication of this story is, howsoever you try in your mind, you cannot know who you are. By means of your mind, you cannot know who you are. If you gain the whole universe and lose your soul, then you have gained nothing. And vice versa, if you gain yourself and lose the whole universe, then you have lost nothing. Howsoever you train your mind in the field of science, psychology, philosophy, economics, and religion, by means of the mind, you cannot know yourself. For that, you have to go beyond body and mind into the state of I am. And when you are in the state of I am, beyond the body and mind, then you are in God and in heaven. Once Moses asked on Mount Sinai, I have received your vision, but tell me, please, how am I to convince others of your presence? And God told him, tell them, I am that I am. Please test by meditation. Meditation as I am that. Om Shanti, Shri Brahmananda Saraswati. 2 minutes silence. Watch your breathing.
You can feel that you're breathing in your ocean of safety.
You can feel that you're breathing in an ocean of electricity. You can feel that you're breathing in an ocean of electricity.
Whole atmosphere,
The whole atmosphere
breathe with you,
is breathing with you.
with your body.
The whole atmosphere is breathing with your body.
You are beyond both.
You are beyond both, beyond the body, beyond the atmosphere. 1 minute,
feel radio wave.
feel radio waves.
When you feel radio wave,
When you feel radio waves,
then you cannot feel your physical body.
then you cannot feel your physical body.
But body of ocean of electricity.
But the ocean of electricity
With divine music.
with divine music. Tumeva bandhu shasaka tumeva tumeva vidya dravinam tumeva sarvam mama deva deva. Om shanti shanti shanti.
One song.
One song on the harmonium.
Really?
That nice song that you did.
Guruji?
You know nothing by heart?
Everything by heart. All the time.
How about just playing one note? Yeah, just with the note. You know that.
I know that.